Hello everyone and welcome back to another Pirate 101 video. Now obviously I've done this for Wizard 101 and I'm sure there's plenty of people who've done this in the past, so I just want to do it again. This is my perspective on the worlds ranked from worst to best in Pirate 101. Now before I get into this, I need to say, obviously I'm only level 58. I have not completed Aquila and I have not completed Valencia Part 2. This is important to put into perspective. Obviously my views on Valencia are skewed, but I have read up on them. I've read other people's opinions, so I've kind of formed what I believe is at least a basis of an opinion that I can, base some kind of fact on. But we're gonna get right into it. So first on my list, I don't actually have to go anywhere, conveniently enough. The worst world, in my opinion, in this game, funny enough, is Skull Island. Now, this one for me was obviously a toss-up between the next one, which I'm sure a lot of you know because it's probably a lot of your least favorite worlds. But my problem with Skull Island is that it is goddamn long. Now, honestly, the ladder quest lines, like anything past the beginning, anything past level like 8, is kind of good. I do like it, but my main problem with it is the fact that the beginning is so agonizingly long. The Blood Shoals alone, like just Blood Shoals area, which, mind you, Blood Shoals is Pirate 101's equivalent of Wizard 101's Firecat Alley, Cyclops Lane, and Triton Avenue. So that alone took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to do, versus Wizard 101 where it would take me about 50 minutes to finish all those. Now, obviously, some might like that longer, amount of that longer quest, right? Just the amount of quests. But for me, that's not, no, I don't agree. I feel like it's so poorly paced. Like, the problem is that this has the potential to be one of my favorite worlds. I love the aesthetic, I love the music, I love the enemies, just about everything in it. But the problem is the pacing. The pacing is just absolutely awful. It goes from feeling decent in the beginning to being agonizingly slow with Blood Shoals, which, mind you, it used to be fine. It used to be fine until they changed it and made it different, which I still don't know why they did that, because the old Blood Shoals questline was absolutely fine. So there was that, obviously, that annoyed me. Then there is the fact that the pacing all of a sudden speeds up and feels actually nice when you get to One-Eyed Jack and Ratbeard, which, obviously One-Eyed Jack and Ratbeard was an interesting quest line, which is good, but then you have to come back to Skull Island quite a few times throughout the game, and it's just not, it's not what I want. There's Port Regal and stuff that you have to do, which is just annoying. So realistically, that's why it's lowest on my list. I just recently had to do it. People will probably disagree with me here. I just don't think it's a well-paced world, and I think if they just changed Blood Shoals, the new quest line, out for the old quest line, it would probably be like 2 or 3 places higher on my list. But we're gonna get into the next world now. And here we are with next on our list, which I'm sure you all saw coming a mile away, which is Cool Ranch. Now, I would like to emphasize with a very, very strong emphasis, I honestly kind of like this world. I liked the quest line, I liked the characters, and I liked the music. Now, the problem is it has literally the exact same problem that Skull Island has, which I think is a major issue that they have in this game that they kind of needed to fix. But they do have its good moments with it, which is pacing, obviously. The pacing of Skull Island is so slow that I think it's one of the longest games in both Wizard 101 and Pirate 101, which is insane considering Chrysalis takes hours to do, as in like hours, like 20 plus, which it's just crazy to think about. But, and that's not even mentioning soloing. If you had to solo either of these, either Chrysalis or Cool Ranch, it would be really painful. But obviously there's a reason why Cool Ranch is low on my list. But I would like to say a lot of these worlds, actually, to be completely honest, I still enjoy, I still like, Honestly, I still like Cool Ranch. It's just that I like the other worlds a bit better. The only thing is that, again, this is my world's ranked list. Next on the list, I actually like slightly worse than Cool Ranch. I just think objectively it's a bit better paced, but, you know. But, yeah, I honestly think that Cool Ranch is a decent world in regards to the quest line and the characters and stuff. I actually do enjoy going through it, and I'm looking forward to going through it again on my new Musketeer character. I just think that, you know, it's just not as well paced as I want it to be. But that's it for today. Did I just start doing my outro? I just started doing my outro. That's it for this world. Let me go to the next one. All right, next on our list is Valencia. Now, again, I would like to point out I have not done Valencia Part 2. And before I actually get into this, can I just say, going from place to place in this video has been ass. The amount of times it takes us sail to each one. I'm paused for like 10 minutes between each unpause. But anyways, here we are in Valencia. Now, Valencia, I've obviously only done really Part 1, but I put it here on the list just because I actually really do enjoy the quest line and the plot of it. I feel like this, you know, idea of the Armada and a Valencian powerhouse of a, you know, army is really cool. And I think, you know, it's obvious that, at least to my perspective, that they had bigger plans for the Armada than what they ended up with in Valencia Part 2. I'm gonna have to fight that ship. Go away. But the main issue was obviously that Pirate101 was cut funding. But I would like to say I do think that that this world generally has a really cool vibe. It's got the I was about to say cyberpunk. What's that called? Is cyberpunk what I'm looking for? I forget what it's called. I'm just gonna move on. But I think this is fine where it is on the list. I think the reason why it's above like Cool Ranch is just because I do like the aesthetic of it and the importance of it. But we're gonna move on from that. Next on our list is Aquila. Now, some people might disagree with this. I actually don't know how people are gonna feel about my rankings, but I feel like Aquila, for me, the reason why it's here, it's kind of dead middle of the list, is because while it is difficult and it feels incredibly difficult, I've always enjoyed the Greek mythology and the setting of this world. I thought in Wizard101 it was really cool, and obviously the problem with that is that it didn't really go too much. That was the god side of things, like the Mount Olympus, Olympian part of things. This Aquila is the Greek mythology, monsters, you know, and that type of thing vibe to it, which is completely different and still feels incredibly nice. And I feel like it honestly is a really cool kind of just vibe to it. And I feel like I'm really excited to continue doing it in the future, you know, rather than like not just for how cool it looks, but also the story. Also, there's a rabbit right here. That's pretty cool. But we're gonna move on. All right, so next on our list is Monquista. Now, I have always loved this world. I love the idea of it. The Spanish Empire is something that has always interested me. Obviously, it sucked, but it's always interested me. I've always thought it's really cool, and I really like the idea that they created here. While Monquista is a bit short, and by a bit short, I mean it's one of the shortest worlds in either Wizard101 or Pirate101. I think it might be the shortest world in Wizard101 or Pirate101. It is still enjoyable to do, and I had fun doing it. I thought it was, you know, mildly challenging, and I had a good time. My biggest complaint is probably the sheer amount of sailing back and forth that happens. But obviously, that happens in this game all the time. I don't feel like it should be judged too harshly for that. And I think that just generally it has a good vibe to it. The music is great. It's well paced, which I can't say for a lot of these worlds. And I think that it's honestly one of the most well-made worlds. It's just not really my favorite compared to these top two, which obviously, if you've been keeping track in your head, it's you know, there's only 2 worlds left, so you probably know which ones it is. So you know what, I'm not even gonna pause the video. I'm just gonna go next on our list, and the second highest is Marleybone. Now, I honestly absolutely loved this world when I did it. Obviously, there's a lot of fighting the Navy and stuff, but probably one of my favorite quest lines in this entire game, and in both games in general, is getting Catbeard out of prison and, you know, assisting in all that's happening in Marleybone. And I thought that that was really cool. I really enjoy Marleybone in Wizard 101, and in Pirate 101 that's no different. I absolutely love the fact that we get to see these like dirty and gross kind of mismatched streets like we see in real life with Britain and London, especially during the Victorian era, that Marleybone tends to imitate. Obviously, I just think it looks really nice, and really not clean is not the right word, but it looks beautiful, it sounds beautiful, and I feel like the quest line and quest itself were incredibly fun and decently paced. It took me a while. I think it is one of the longer worlds, but I did really enjoy it. So I recommend, if you're coming here from Wizard 101 to try to find out my favorite worlds, obviously you can go watch my opinion on the Wizard 101 worlds if you want, but I feel like you need to give this a try if you're coming from Wizard 101. I feel like it's definitely different from the Marleybone and Wizard 101, and I feel like I actually like it more than that. But that's it for Marleybone, and we're moving on to my favorite world, which obviously is probably an unpopular opinion. It definitely is. I've seen a lot of people online and in my chat and stuff saying that they don't like Mushu. I think they don't like Mushu in both Wizard 101 and Pirate 101, which astounds me because it's my favorite world in both, actually. It's just such a large mix of things that makes it my favorite world. The aesthetic is fantastic, the music is fantastic, both quest lines are fantastic, and just generally, I feel like they give off the best, and they're some of the strongest worlds made. Now, obviously, people's main complaint with Pirate 101 Mushu is that it drags on. I didn't find that it dragged on, actually. It's funny because obviously, I did most of this in 2017. I quested by myself completely because there was no one to help me because no one played Pirate 101 back in 2017. But I thought, obviously, I did Cool Ranch, Marleybone, Cool Ranch, Mushu, Marleybone, and I got to Aquila all in that 1 year. And I thought that out of the, you can actually see that most of those are at the top, towards the top of my list, except for Cool Ranch. Mushu in general, I thought had a very interesting quest line, and because it showed the side of Mushu that we never really see. In the original Mushu, we just saw kind of the warlords and the revolts against the Emperor, with the Emperor himself being sick, and then you needed to save him, putting him down. That's in Wizard 101. In Pirate 101, we get the more grittier sides of things. We still get the warlords and that kind of thing, but it's less about the Emperor and more about the like rival, like the Yakuza in this game are a large part of it. And you know, I feel like that's important, you know, and it was really cool, to be honest. I think out of most of the worlds, this one did one of the greatest jobs at giving a certain atmosphere and portraying the quest line in a way that's enjoyable. And I like that it's not just completely reused music. You can see right here, If you hear it, that's new music. Okay, I just accidentally rammed into that storm koi. Don't worry about it. But that's basically it for my ranking of ranking the worlds. Let me know what you think. Obviously, I expect people to 100% disagree with me. There's no way that people are going to agree with me, especially on things like I don't think Marleybone and Mushu. In retrospect, looking at the video, what I find interesting, the worlds that have been shown in Wisdom 101 are at the top, or tend more towards the top. I don't know if it's because I have nostalgic memories of them or what, but personally, I think they did the best job. Now, obviously that's not entirely true because Monquista is right up there. But I would like to also point out, and like this is one of the most important things about my list, is above Valencia / Cool Ranch, somewhere in there, I like all the, above Skull Island, I like all the worlds. I think all of them are really fun and actually genuinely well made. Now obviously you can't really, there's no real way to numerically rank it, as in like give it a grade. I mean, I guess I could with a tier list or something, but realistically, if this was a tier list, the top 5 would all be with an S to B tier, which is important to know. They're all extremely close to each other. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and sub button. I appreciate all the support recently, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic day.